Hey guys, it's Brett from Iron Body Martial Arts here. In case you don't know, I own a channel here on YouTube that focuses mainly on old style traditional martial arts and conditioning training, endurance training, toughness training, some law enforcement stuff as well, and the realistic application of martial arts. So I've been doing some reaction videos, and one of the things that really started up my channel, and one of the things that I try and specialize in, is the 72 Secret Arts of Shaolin, which is a ancient set of training exercises for Shaolin Kung Fu. So I dug up a cool video here. It's an older one where someone's pulled it from somewhere. I think Shaolin Temple, Lithuania has put up 72 Secret Arts of Shaolin video. So let's go through it, and I'll have a chat to you of my experience of training some of these skills, not all of them, over the last like 19 odd years or more. So let's have a look. The sound doesn't really matter that much. Oh yeah, so here's Iron Head skill, obviously. This is just the start of the video. It's just giving an overview of the skills. Still Iron Head skill. They're calling it hard skull skill. It's not, I haven't seen it written like this in the manual. But awesome stuff. Look, first off, I have to say something about this. Actually, some of these guys are quite recognized masters, especially this young guy that you just see here. He's fairly well known. But one thing I'd have to say about this is obviously, we're not really sure. I'll stop it for a second. We're not really sure the setup of this and whether it's, government based, which it probably is in China. It's obviously an older video. So my take on, I know I'm not one of these monks and I'm not there, but my take on this video is it is kind of like a bit staged, and some of the skills that they're training in the video here appear to me to be not the way that they would probably usually train them. So who am I to say that? Well, I'm just someone who's also trained these skills for like, more than 10, more than 15 years, some of them, or maybe it's just a different way. But if you train these skills a lot, there's ways they're written down, and there's ways that you sort of train them, and there's ways that you don't train them. I don't know the answer. Maybe some of you guys know the answer out there, but I would just be careful with some of the stuff you're watching, because I think some of it is also, as awesome and as skilled as the Shaolin monks are, but I suppose we may even be able to ask some of these guys who are around. Some of this stuff seems me to be maybe a bit staged or whatever, maybe not the way that they would usually do it, making it look a bit more a bit more impact than there would be. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's just my 2 cents on it. Maybe they train this level all the time. I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look. That's just like a word of warning. Yeah, awesome stuff again. The butting of things with the head and the striking, and obviously striking against each other. This is all obviously ad-lib stuff that they've done. Obviously hanging a sandbag and striking it is one of the preparatory skills of the 72 Secret Arts. So it's not even the beginning skills yet. But then striking with every time of a fist, that's normal. Obviously here practicing horse stance, monk pillar skill. Again, it's preparatory exercise really. And the way that they do the different traps and stuff may just vary. Maybe they do set that rig up every day. Maybe it's more demonstrative for the camera. I would suggest they probably just stand on the poles with the master there, or with their fellow students there, not always over a spike or something like that, I mean, this is a bit of an old school video. Probably another good person to ask about this is the old Ranton. He does good videos on the sort of stuff he saw at the temple, albeit this will be way before he was there. And these may be like inner disciple monks, which I think they are. Here's the old iron palm skill, striking into the beans, mung beans. Yeah. So there's a couple of skills there. There's a skill called standing at a pile, striking a pile, which is literally just you have a pile of wood in the ground like a stake and you just strike it in various ways. So that's like really accurate to the text. The iron palm skill of them striking into the beans all in the cauldron. Again, yep, that's kind of as it is. Again, it's not... yeah, it seems to be a hodgepodge of bits and pieces of different skills rather than the actual specific skills. But hey, you know, I'm not saying they're doing it wrong. Again, differently trained. Like there's the, you know, when you're training the striking into the beans, I would say there's better ways that you can get more benefit out of the striking. So I mean, I've got a video on it from a kung fu point of view. I mean, I know it's like you guys might think, oh, this is crazy because those are the Shaolin monks. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, if you just strike your fingers into the beans, it only does one thing. It just toughens your fingers for this one single direction of striking. So usually when you're striking into those beans or whatever, you'd be plunging your hand in like a video that I did. You'd be twisting and gripping, and you'd be twisting, opening your hands. You know, you'd be doing more to get more benefit out of the training. So in essence, just doing that, you know, it's like a lesser level. It's, you know, you can do better than that, you know, like, you know, and yeah, it's true. Like it'll do one thing. It will just toughen your fingers, and that is how the skill's written. But there's more things in between the lines that you can do. And that's why I think that this demonstration on the video isn't how, you know, the guy, like, they haven't given the secrets away. That's what I'm trying to say. Like when I watch it, I'm like, nah, those guys don't train it like that, if that makes sense. If that makes sense to you guys, do you know what I mean? Like, are you gonna get your group of guys together, show them some stuff, put it on film, make it look a bit fancier than it normally does, but not give away the secrets? Or are you going to show exactly how they do it so that everyone can copy? I think they've gone with the first one, if you guys understand my meaning. This is an awesome classic skill, and this is done exactly like this. I've demonstrated it quite numerous times. Striking and twisting. Stone lifting skill, yeah. And again, I did a video the other day where there's loads of different ways you could do this, you know, just with the straight hand, and then you can see what he's starting to do, where he starts to grip and twist it. And again, if you do practice this skill and you practice it a lot, you'll get the development in your forearms, you'll get the development in your shoulders and the wrists and stuff. So you should be able to see, as another thing, when you've done these different skills for long enough, you can see when people actually train them, and you can see when they're just putting it on one off one, you know, not actually training them. Here's some stone lock stuff. Now again, you know, these guys are doing like really basic stone lock stuff. If you guys are aware of stone lock, there's some sort of stone lock masters out there who again do higher level, I want to say higher level stuff, but you know, they do the traditional stone lock is like spinning it, flipping it, how many rotations it does in front of you, and then grabbing it. So again, there's more ways of doing it, there's more of an art to it than just what they're showing here. So this also leads me to believe that, you know, it's a bit of a demonstrative. It's not really, it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. The video puts it across like this is exactly what these guys do every day, and I don't think it is. Oh, here's the old water striking. Now, funnily enough, this is a skill I've done it every now and then, but I've not really trained it much. But if you do, when you hit that water, it stings your hand. So again, that would give a density, you know, it would give a good practice to your hand. It's part of this sort of, what do you call it? Yin and yang. Yin and yang. This guy's good smashing these buckets with his fist, which is cool. And then his elbows, because his fists obviously got tired. Now, lifting these things, these are described in the 72 Arcs of the Shaolin, these jugs, usually used for lifting with your fingers like this, holding. Those are things that, you know, like the karate jugs, you do lift to strengthen the fingers and hold in other ways. They call this Shaolin belt skill. And then they've added like an element of drunken master in there, like drunken kung fu. I'll keep it going, but this one's strange because there's skill of the Nephirite belt, and there's ringing round a tree. There's the belt skills in the 72 Secret Arts. One is like what the kids do, where they bend backwards, like round a tree, like backwards. You see them do it. It's crazy. And then they literally look like a belt, you know. They actually ring around the tree, stretches out their spine and stuff. The other one is literally one where you grab a tree and you grip it with your knees and your legs and your arms and your chest, and you pull it in, and then you just hold the tree and you try and uproot the tree, and you practice on the tree every day. That's actually a skill I've practiced as well. And it's really awesome. Like, you think like, why the hell, what benefits that gonna do for you? But again, if you've ever done any wrestling or jiu-jitsu or anything like that, you know, being able to crush and grip things with your knees and your legs and your body is very like important. So it can help you with your throws and simple stuff like that. And it's a great, easy way to train static, loaded, dynamic tension, like strength, against like an absolutely immovable object. So it's a really good method. But again, practicing it like this on a pot, you know, it will give you some benefit because you're like squeezing something. But I don't know about this one because I didn't see anything like this written in the skills. What you've got to remember also about the Shaolin temples, if you talk to a lot of the old guys, is that it was as early as the 1980s, the Shaolin temple wasn't even there. So, you know, a lot of these things have been revived and different masters have brought them in, and there's different sources. So who knows what the original training was, you know. It's hard to tell these days. Most of the source material for the 72 Secret Arts of the Shaolin, the manual that's out there by like a military general, was I think compiled in like the 1920s or 30s, and it's that one that goes around with the red front cover. Yeah, I mean, this is just awesome. Like, again, it's like something from Drunken Master. And again, this is just something I would not want to do. I'm not sure if it's written in one of the skills. I'd have to have a look. But I think it possibly might be. Oh, actually, I think it is. Yeah. Where you have an apparatus set up and you've got a little jug, a cup, and you have to dip it in and put it in. In fact, no, I lie. This is one of the skills. And you just have to fill the cup from one to the other and then empty the cup from there to there. And man, this must be tough. So this is like really old as the hills, this skill that they're doing here. That's really cool. And this guy just gets punished for ages doing this. And it's so hard that you must use soft and hard simultaneously. 100 times a day. Imagine doing 100 like inverted sit-ups. Awesome. I think this lad as well, he's actually in the Shaolin Temple film, you know, the actual film that got released, that one with Jackie Chan where he's the chef. He's in that. This lad, he's very prominent in the sort of later material from the Shaolin Temple. He's always in the pictures. So it'd be awesome if someone could ever interview him and say like, hey, you know, when you did this video, is this the stuff that you guys used to do, and is that where you used to train it, or was it kind of a bit set up, and did you change this and change that? You know, I'm not saying they did, but that's just a question in my mind. Another thing I'd say about that is like, just with your own training areas, if you train these skills in a place, you know, like that dirt floor or whatever, you know, everything gets worn away. You know, you start digging ruts in the floor and this and that, and the next thing, the beams start wearing extra big holes because you're just there so much. So that's another thing that, you know, makes me wonder about the training area. This is one you see all the time in the videos, these poor guys climbing up and down. I mean, this stuff is just so awesome. You know, this is a sort of stuff, you know, because this is I think even pre-internet stuff. This is the stuff, you know, I used to watch. There wasn't a lot of it available, but this is the things we used to see, you know, from time to time, and you'd see a video of it and it just give you such motivation, you know. I mean, that guy's neck is so good, you know, the power, the strength from doing the iron head training. And then hanging. Don't ever try this, but after doing a lot of iron head training, which includes the neck training, I tried this briefly and was able to do it briefly. But you know, you can't, don't try it. You can't trust that you're not going to kill yourself unless your neck's very strong. And the reason is because obviously that area there is where the blood flows into the brain. So it's not about choking yourself. It's about actually cutting the blood off to your brain. Is that Shi Di Yang? I'm sorry, I've pronounced his name terribly, but you guys know who I mean. This guy gonna break plates on his head, wasn't he? Oh, it's that guy again. I was gonna do it with his fingers. Wow. Steel finger. Be eaten in horse stance, yeah. Yeah, again, this is awesome stuff. Whether or not that's what they actually did is another thing. That's the skill of the teeth. This is crazy. I remember when I saw this. Like, this is like... But again, you see, if you strengthen the jaw muscle, they've you know, they've proven that it'll help you from getting knocked out. So yeah, if you can lift the table with your mouth and you strengthen the jaw and the muscle that much, it'll really help you with like getting knocked out. But again, it's another level, eh? And this is obviously one that this particular guy, you know, it's his skill that he is good at. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. This guy just has to pour a really heavy pot. It's obviously very heavy. And again, stress positions and sort of meditations. But again, you know, I very much doubt they sleep like this, or did. But I have heard of a certain monk who escaped the Shaolin temple who can sleep standing up because he's so used to the stress positions. So sometimes these things aren't as unbelievable as they seem. Yeah, there we go. So there's more, probably the personal training, iron sand into their things. I love these videos, man. Like, two finger Zen, breaking the stone. It's old monk. Once you can do a handstand on your fingers, you'll be able to do stuff like that. More about the handstand than practicing striking. So, you know, this is one of my favorite clips. This is nothing short of just unbelievable training and years of it. Like, you can see this guy, this monk here, there's no tricks. Like, in my opinion, this guy is just, he is just trained for so many years. And to do this on these rough sort of stones, to do these flat breaks with the palm, this is very much how I used to like do my early breaking, just this kind of raw hitting. And yeah, that is just full on iron palm for a lot of years. This is one of my favorite breaking videos like ever. This demonstration. You see it split up in various videos. Yeah, and that stuff is madness. No spaces or anything like that. And the tension in the body that the guy has to create, man, that is just power. This guy could just destroy you, man. And this head breaking, yep. This guy is just solid, man. Oh, this is a cool one. These apparatus. Again, this is cool, just simple rope training stuff. But it was an early apparatus that they used. You know, maybe no one else thought about it. But if you train with these and you increase the weights and it's the rope and the pulling, then of course you know, rudimentary, don't forget these are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of years old, these training techniques. And, you know, you got to respect that these are like the first people who thought about doing it this way. You know, these, you know, like, oh, let's make a gadget that makes the training, you know, sort of almost supernatural, but not, you know, it's like the first gyms, you know. Again, these are cool, like sort of eagle wing skills where you're just developing your strength, you know, testing it, you know. There's just guys, warriors, you know, people who enjoy training and enjoy strength, just finding ways to test their strength in different ways, you know. Also, a lot of it's demonstrative, you know, like for shows and stuff, but it's still cool. You know, that's you know, that's something that's perhaps maybe a bit missing these days, is that you know, I've seen a couple of videos with guys who've gone to the Shaolin temple and stuff like that in those areas more recently, and there's a lot of masters, and you know, the basic, like I think there was one guy who went to one of the temples, or one of the subsidiary training schools, got a couple of his masters from the school and got them to, you know, do just normal strength feats like pull-ups and press-ups and, you know, stuff like that. And not obviously these guys were like masters at that kung fu, but you know, they couldn't do that many pull-ups and, you know, simple strength feats like that. And you know, which is interesting because, you know, back in the day, even in the Shaolin Temple, you know, this basic level of dynamic strength and power from the 72 secret arts of Shaolin, the gripping and twisting, that, you know, these were like important skills, almost as important as the kung fu itself, you know, because it made you strong enough to do it and be lethal, you know. And this is like the golden bell skill. Oh yeah, knocking a bell, see? Yeah, golden bell is developing the iron shirt or the resistant stomach. Lots of different ways to train this, but yeah, it's in the 72 secret arts. This isn't the way you train it, by the way. This is just a demonstration. But awesome, nonetheless. The amount of force that's hitting that guy is pretty heavy. Yeah, I love this stuff, man. And these are just tree brim. Another, yeah, this guy, it's this bloody guy again. You notice there's no red marks on him either. Again, if the stick breaks, it's actually, you're fine, and it's like barely any pain. But if the stick doesn't break, yeah, that's when you're having problems. And again, like with you know, look, like with the people, like that would have hurt. And people think like, oh, you know, it's a trick, it's fake and stuff like that. And yeah, you know, there is a bit of leverage where they're breaking the stick, but you know, the one where they hit the guy's neck with the stick, and the stick, you know, it didn't break down the line, it broke exactly where it hit his neck, within like that much on the neck. It goes to show you how powerful this guy is. This again, this is like a bit of just a parlor trick, you know, especially with the cheap glass. But it's not really a part. I mean, it's again still, this guy's got good conditioning and concentrating of the force. And if they're wine bottles with the concave, they're even harder to do, but it's still awesome. But we saw that guy just absolutely hammering stones. So it's just showing the force that they can project. But that one's more of just a demo trick. It's actually not that difficult to do. Yeah, again, this one, yeah, just breaking bottles and stuff. It's about speed, and also conditioning, and this is like madness, a good madness. But yeah, just more kind of things. I wouldn't advise anything. But again, the power, you see that the conditioning in the fingers to just knock away glass like that is just awesome. What's this guy going to do now? Yeah, again, you know, it's again just showing the density of the fingers, you know, to be able to just hit at glass and just smash it with the fingers. Yeah. And then not be injured and not be cut. you know, but you'll get cut and stuff. But yeah, don't mess with glass. Like, just stay away from glass, please. And this is also one of the skills. I think it's also called, here they call it Art of Four Directions or something, but I think it's called Art of Sun Rays as well. And it's like striking at candles, and it gets more a bit esoteric than that. You strike at the flame, and then you try and put barriers in between the flame, and you strike at that so that there's no physical way your air can get to it, and it gets a bit esoteric. And there's the plum blossom poles. I'd love to train on those. I've never properly trained on those poles. I've made sort of versions of them in my gardens and stuff, and found versions of them in the parks, and but yeah, I think it's awesome. Again, developing something that's very important in Shaolin Kung Fu and Kung Fu in martial arts, I believe, which is the weight on the forefoot, not so much on the heel, is really important. That's why it's actually important to practice horse stance, balancing on things, because it gets you to that forward, you know, position. Oh, nearly finished. Oh yeah, well there we go, guys. So there we go. Yeah, so anyway, that was my 2 cents on that. Hey, again, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to supersede anything these guys are saying or saying it's not authentic or whatever, because what do I know? But yeah, that's anyway, awesome. I love that stuff. It's like, that's exactly my dream of like training at the Shaolin Temple is like. I know it's not actually like that, but in my training over the years, I've tried to keep to that style of just old school hard style training, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, nice. Have a good one. Thank you.